it loses her up here sometimes, and you can literally
And
just
it's
like
so true.
move it,
Oh,
and
You know,
it'll track again.
And we have kind of that system, and if you look at the tests and the movements that they ask, it's kind of a rough guideline as to what do we ask next. You know, you'd say, okay, I'm at second level and third level, they have half pass and flying changes. So now I have to teach my horse half pass and flying changes to get to third level. And so we kind of have that, but there are some times when I'll teach a horse, like a 4 or 5-year-old, how to piaffe because the horse doesn't understand the concept of a half halt or sitting within a half halt. So we teach piaffe as a way to say, you need to sit. Yeah? Or you take a horse like Julie's horse, Maverick, which is, you know, almost doing everything from the Grand Prix, and it's only 6. And I had a mare, a great mare, a Swedish mare, and I took that horse from second level to Grand Prix in 18 months. But I played with things, and she just caught on to things, and I couldn't really, I never rode her more than 30, 35 minutes on any day, because she came out and gave 110%, and I never took advantage of that.
So that's my question, is how, like, so you said you don't necessarily, if they're doing the right things, you don't necessarily get along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you normally have, when you plan your ride, or when you recommend that, you have, like, people kind of think about their plan before they go on, like, where they work on these 2 things, and if it goes well, we're done, or you can kind of,
Well,
like a horse.
all, yes to all the above. So for an example, I mean, I come out with a game plan. Not only with a horse that I have in training, but for a student. I come out with a game plan, and fortunately or unfortunately for you, I pretty much always remember where we left off in a lesson. So, well, I had a student who, she was always asking me crazy questions. And she was a psychologist. She taught psychology at a university, and she prided herself on being able to tell what a person's IQ was. So she would randomly ask me these crazy questions, and finally I said, I know what you're doing. And it turns out that I have an IQ of 4. So I got that going for me. 4. So, actually it was a little higher than that. It was 6. But I don't want to brag. But, so anyway, I have an idea. I'll back up. I'll give you a good example. I have a horse that I'm thinking I'm starting the flying changes. I've done all the prep work. I'm going to make the changes. And I get on with the idea of schooling changes, and I'm not happy with the canter or the rideability of the canter. So even though I came out with the game plan of making changes, I say to myself, well, I really don't have the quality or the rideability of the canter that I want, and so I'm going to work on that. And then I say to myself, okay, I have the quality of the canter now. I've got the rideability. Do I still have enough physically for the horse to make changes, or do I wait until tomorrow? Yeah. And a lot of times I'll say, yeah, it took me long enough, and I had to put enough effort, and the horse had to put enough effort into getting to this place where I could do a change, but I don't think I have enough horse to do the changes. So I'm just setting myself up for a better ride tomorrow. So again, I come out the next day with the idea of making changes. Right? So I always look at the quality of the gait. If I'm doing movement, and here's where maybe I'm different than some, I use the movement to challenge the basics. I use the movement to find out how good are my basics. If I could change the word dressage to a better word that describes what we're doing, it would be rideability. Yeah? And so if I come out and I'm saying I want to work on lateral work and the horse is really stiff, I'm going to work on bending and suppling to then be able to apply that to my lateral work. Sometimes I feel like the horse, as I said yesterday, I don't know if you remember, I said I'm riding and I think the trot is great and it's wonderful, and I do a shoulder in and it's terrible. And I'm like, yay, it's a horrible shoulder in, because I'm using the shoulder in as a diagnostic tool. The horse fooled me, and thank God I did a shoulder in to find out that the gait wasn't good enough, right? Because otherwise I'd be riding around thinking it's good and not making the changes that I need to, and now every step that the horse is going, fooling me, is a step that's saying to the horse I'm doing a good job when it's not, yeah? So I use the movements to really ask the question, how good are the aids? Another way to think of it is when you're riding, I often think of the phrase, the chain is only as strong as the weakest link. And you can't find out where the weak link is unless you pull on the chain.
Sure.
Yeah? So a lot of times we're doing things and challenging our horse in ways that we're finding out where is the weak link. And then we fix that. Yeah? On a horse like this, my idea would be, can I ride the horse connected? I'm looking for those three basic ideas. Is my horse supple enough? Is it forward enough? Is it straight enough? And when I feel like I've got control, now I'm going to challenge the chain by making lateral work, like a shoulder in or a leg heel, yeah?
Sure.
Or maybe transitional work where I'm staying forward and back. But I'm doing something to challenge that horse and figure out where's the weakest link. And some people are almost afraid to experiment, and that's a shame because you need to experiment. Another example would be, I'm going to make an extended trot or a medium trot. The first one I do, I don't expect it to be good or great. It's a starting point. It's saying, okay, where's the horse in its body today? And where do I ride the horse in its body the next time I say medium? So for an example, if I say medium trot and the horse pops up above the bit, I'm probably going to say, okay, I need to make the horse into a lower or deeper outline. I need to make the horse into a lower or deeper outline the next time I make a medium trot. Yeah? And then if the horse says I'm going to take my head and bury it between my front legs, then that's probably a horse I would say, all right, now I'm going to make the outline higher. Yeah? So I can change the outline to really get the performance. He's counterbend, but I need you to, but what else are
I
you?
need that shoulder.
You need the shoulder.
Connecting in my right shoulder.
You need to get the right shoulder out of your way. I agree.
Yeah.
But let's go back to, you know who Robert Dover is?
Yes.
Okay, so I worked with Robert Dover, and he had a great phrase. Connection, direction, collection.
Okay.
Do you know how your power steering works in your car?
Not really.
Okay, so there's a cylinder, and there's hydraulic fluid, and there's a
Okay.
pump. And the
Yeah.
pump is pushing hydraulic fluid through the system. And when you turn your wheel, it says, a thing says, okay, we got to add hydraulic fluid. And so the pump ramps up and it pushes hydraulic to a cylinder, which assists in the steering.
Sure.
But what if the pump isn't pushing enough fluid through the system?
Okay. And
Then
that's
what
my
happens?
goal.
You don't have power steering or power brakes, do you?
Right.
Right. So I want you to think of your horse's hind leg is the pump, and it's really pushing that hydraulic fluid through the system. And when the horse takes too short or a lazy step, what happens? The pump isn't pushing fluid through, and now you don't have power steering or power brakes, right? So you're trying to ride that right shoulder, but how much trot did you have? How much hydraulic fluid was going through there? How much?
Not enough forward.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to get back to Robert Dover's connection, direction, collection. If you have a good leg-to-hand connection, it lets you ride the shoulders. And as you said earlier in our very first lesson, she gets wiggly, yeah? So you have to ride her forward to get rid of the wigglies. Go forward enough that she doesn't have wigglies. Now that's going to be probably more forward than what you have been riding, right? And so you have to fix the wigglies by making the forward, then come back to the tempo you want. So now make the push, now bend to the right and make the push. Bend right and make that push. Make her push off of it. Almost like overbend and push like a leg yield off your inside eighth. Now remember yesterday we talked about not pulling the shoulders around, but guiding the shoulders around. Now make more bend to the right and move the right shoulder away from your right rein. Yeah. You're going to move that right shoulder away from your right rein. In the big picture, the reins are saying here's what the shoulders do. The leg says here's what the rib cage does, and your leg behind the girth says here's what that hind leg is doing. So bend, and even now, push her away like a leg yield off your inside eighth. Yes, there. You got to feel that inside leg's got that pocket. But don't take your hand wide. Yep, keep it, move it away. Move it away. Yeah, and if she says, I'm going to push against it, you're going to feel her push against your leg, and you push her off, and then you're going to feel her push against your rein a little bit, where she gets tight against the inside rein. Yeah, So bend and push her off of it. Bend again and push her off of it. Yeah, there you go. You almost feel you get that little hollow at the base of the neck to that inside. And she also fills the outside rein better when you do that. Yeah. Yes. So now we're going to take that into the trot. Yep. And this has to get confirmed, forward and connected with that positioning, right? And if she gets behind your leg, she's already counterbent. Bend and move the right shoulder away. Bend and move the right shoulder away. Yep, bend and move the right. Now get going, get going. Make the forward. Make the forward, right? Your head's above the bit, so we got to push her forward a little bit. So think a little quieter aid to get that, yeah? A little quieter aid. It's almost too abrupt and you're killing the forward. So we want to make sure we keep the forward. Well, you're going to, you kind of came with a pretty abrupt half halt, and that shut her down. So think if you have a contact, it's a more fluid type of half halt. Not a real quick one. There's definitely a time for a quick half halt, but we don't want to get in the way. So you're thinking it's more of so sometimes when we half halt, we have to feel like it's a really quick half halt release. There are other times I feel like I'm half halting and it's a longer, more fluid half halt. In fact, I used to get in trouble. When I rode with Kira, I used to get in trouble because she said, "You half halt like Emeril Lagasse cooks." Bam! Yeah, bam! Right? I was giving a really big half halt. She said, your feeling is right. You're half halting to fix the problem. So you recognize the problem. It's only that you're trying to fix the problem within one step. And the horse can't cope with one step. You have to fix it over like 4 or 5 strides, right? Then the horse can cope with the changes you're making, right? So the horse can't cope with a change like immediately. So think, as you're half halting to get to that right shoulder, feel like you're doing it over 4 or 5 steps. Yeah? Like you're half halting, but each half halt is a mini half halt, which adds up to a big half halt after the, right? So it's a little half halt to get the shoulder, a little half halt, and after 4 steps, now you've gotten the horse where you wanted it. Yeah? But it's four more sort of, and the best way to describe it is a longer, more fluid half halt. So it's a difference between going half halt and drop, or half halt and hold it and now soften.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah,
So,
I guess I'm thinking if I'm asking for something, I want an immediate reaction. I don't
yeah.
necessarily
But, and if you can get it, great. But what she just told us is that, well, it was, I can't make the changes you want that fast in my body. It's too much. So again, we get back to the idea of, I thought you were asking the right thing, right? You asked the right way, but you're making the same mistake I did, which was, I want it now, instead of, let's do a little bit over 4 steps and be happy. Yeah? My father used to have a story about a young bull and an old bull that were walking. And the young bull sees a bunch of cows down there and says, "Hey, let's run down and get one." And the old bull says, "Let's walk and get them all." Right? So it's kind of that idea. We're just going to take our time and get everything we want, as opposed to just one little thing. There you go. Now you're bending again back over the inside shoulder. Bend again back over the inside shoulder. Good. Good. And don't let her push against you. And now make that push. Make that push. Yes. There. That's better. Now you feel some of the wigglies going away. Yes. How do you know you have enough push? You have a good feel. Yeah? She pushes into the bridle and she doesn't have wigglies. And you have a more solid feel. And when you have that more solid feel, that equals connection. When you have a good leg-to-hand connection, now you're better in charge of the shoulders, so you can ride everything in the right direction. If the shoulders get crooked, you'll lose all the balance on the hind leg. So if you had a good collected gait and the shoulders got crooked, bye-bye collection. Yeah?
My brain length, because I think yesterday we were talking about wider. I had wider hands, something
Yeah.
indirect.
Keep your hands closer so you can recognize when the horse is twisting in the shoulders and use your rein as a door, right? The leg, so as I said yesterday, if you're on a circle and the horse is making the circle bigger, drifting out, you would put your outside leg and outside rein on, and you'd half out, yeah? But if the horse is coming in, you want to put your inside leg and inside rein on. So you're effectively doing the opposite, but it still says, can I move the shoulders? Now make more bend over the inside again, and move the right shoulder away from your right leg and right rein, yeah? Now that's the position you have to get and keep to make a good canter transition. Yeah? Yeah. So again, you're thinking bend over the inside, more bend. You don't. But you need to exaggerate the bend right. But as you do it, exaggerate the bend by taking more right rein and making her look over the right shoulder. But it's a fluid feel, yeah? Don't just snatch it. You say, you're going to bend, hi-ya. No hi-ya. Right?
No Miss Piggy move.
No Miss Piggy, hi-ya. Yeah. You know my favorite, I think you need a little bit more drive in the hind leg to sit it. Yeah, I think if you sit that right now, because she's not always stepping to the bridle, I think you'll make her hind leg step short. And that might complicate a little bit.
That would add another level of difficulty.
Exactly. Right. I think this is new to you because I don't think the concept of moving that shoulder away from your inside rein is something you're used to doing. So it's kind of new to the both of you. But she's always trying to kind of push that inside shoulder down. And you're going for more bend, and push her leg heel away from your inside leg. I'm going to use my technical dressage term here. Bend the crap out of her. Yeah? Bend the crap out of her and make her really give. If you can't get it at the trot, come back to the walk. Okay? So if you can't get it at the walk, then we're screwed. But I think you can. But now really bend and push her off your inside leg and take your inside rein and move that inside shoulder away. Both hands to the right. Yeah? Right? I find that the walk is a good aid because a lot of times they don't get it at the trot. We come back at the walk, get it really solidified at the walk, then we have it at the trot. The other areas that I sometimes don't get, like when we canter, you're going to have a good positioning and you're probably going to get about 3 steps of positioning and it's going to fall apart in the canter. And then you're going to come back to the trot, get it back at the trot, then you're going to canter again and you're probably going to get maybe 3 or 4 steps before it falls apart. And then, you start getting more repetitious steps and then you can make the correction within the canter. But my prediction is that you're going to have to really solidify this. And before you get a good canter, you're going to have to make sure that you can easily position that shoulder where you want it and keep it in the trot. Because what I saw was her really quick. She's very quick on her feet, and she's very agile, very athletic, and she can go from here to here like boom. Yeah. Right? So you're going to have that a little bit more solidified to make a good canter. Because otherwise she twists herself like a pretzel. Just as you ask, she twists herself like a pretzel, and now she's in a canter she's not comfortable with, and that's why you're getting like 3 steps and she breaks. Right? And again, if you can't fix it in the canter, she's going to be uncomfortable. So what we have to do is really work on those first couple steps. Right? The first 2 steps are going to make you or break you. Yeah? Sure. The first 2 steps in any movement are going to make you or break you. So if she comes into it crooked, she's going to say, wow, this is uncomfortable, and she's not going to want to do it. So our goal is to say, let me put you in a good spot so when you canter, she says, oh, yeah, this is so much better. Thank you so much for showing me that. Yeah? Mm-hmm. I would. Yeah. And I would probably do a 70-30, So for me, if it works, I'm like, okay, I move on. I'm going to go for the stuff that doesn't work. And it's crazy. I've had people, and I've said, okay, in your normal program, what do you do? Well, she doesn't like to bend to the left, so I usually go a lot to the right. I'm like, oh, no, you need to go more left and make that better. You need to make the bad way as good as the good way. Right? So you're probably going to do more to the right than to the left. It's going to be probably a 60-40, 70-30. Okay, so let's trot on, get the trot, and let's work on leg yield. But again, in the leg yield, you're going to think, can I bend right? And in the beginning, if they don't get it, we can take our opening rein, like the Frisian. I don't know if you saw the lesson with the Frisian. Yeah. Okay, so same idea, where you have to say, maybe I can take my left rein and open it with a contact, because I see some people open it, but it's so loose the horse doesn't feel it. Right? So now you're going to think, and how much forward do you need? Yeah. Okay. So let's come back. So you kind of did a little bit of a no-no. Okay. Yeah. So I like to come up with sort of guidelines and plans for people, and one of the things I need you to really follow through with is finish what you start. Okay. So we talked about that idea of the serpentine, where people say, okay, I'm doing a serpentine and I really feel like the horse just falls over the left shoulder when I'm making my serpentine to the left. And so they recognize that that's a problem, and they don't fix it. They just go to the next part of the serpentine, which is kind of saying, okay, maybe if I do it enough times, it'll work. Well, it doesn't usually work that way, right? You have to fix the problem. So you use the serpentine to find out what's working, what isn't working, and then you might have to abort the idea of the serpentine. So if the horse is saying, I'm not bending left and I'm falling over the left shoulder, I would not just keep doing a serpentine, letting the horse make the same mistake of falling over the left shoulder. I would probably circle and then really work on bending left and get that left shoulder fixed, and then come back to my serpentine and see how well I fixed it. And if it shows up in the serpentine, it's better, but it's still a little bit there, then I say to myself, well, I probably came back to the serpentine too quick. I need to come back to the circle line a little bit and get that fixed and really fixed. It's better, but it's not 100% fixed. I'll come back and fix it. So in her case, she's definitely trying to take herself over the right shoulder. So we're going to think, trot again, really forward, and we're going to push her on and make her take that connection. And go. Now push her off your right leg. Push her off, even here, bend. Now there is something to be, when a horse overbends, they lose their balance and they pop over the outside shoulder. Okay? So we're going to use that to our advantage. We're almost going to try and make her unbalanced to get her to move off your inside leg. So make a lot more bend and almost encourage her to drift over the outside shoulder. And off your inside leg, yes. And hands down and quiet, yeah. Because when she kind of bolts forward a little bit, if your hands are high, she kind of throws you back a little bit. So if you keep your hands down, that's going to help a lot. There you go. Now you're keeping that push. And I bend her more and almost encourage her to pop the left shoulder. I know it's crazy. I'm making her thinking, right? But you know what? I only worry about the things I can't fix easily. So if we make her pop over that left shoulder and drift over the left, it's an easy fix to get that left shoulder where we want, right? But we want to kickstart that idea of her moving her shoulders to the left through the bend right. Can I make her move the shoulders, take your inside rein and make more bend? You know, you're not going to make it just off your inside leg, I guarantee. It's going to take you making her look over the shoulder. So do me a favor, walk in small circle, walk and touch your nose to your knee. Touch your right nose, there you go. Now, good. Make her really give. Yep. Turn her right around, make her give. Yep. I love this horse's hind leg. I love this horse's hind leg. There you go. Now walk out, and now you're gonna walk out, and you're gonna bend to the right, and you're gonna push her off your right leg with bend. Okay? Now bend right. Now push her off your right leg. Make that left shoulder pop. Push it over. Take both hands to the left and keep the bend. Keep that bend. Keep it. Yes. Yes. There. Right. So if you have to exaggerate a little bit, and I don't want you to do it at trot, but if you have to exaggerate the bend to make her kickstart, do it at walk. If you do it at trot, it's too much wear and tear on the joints. Okay? I don't want to do that. I don't want to fry your joints. Now bend again to the right. Bend her right. Make her really give. Now push her off your right leg. Bend more. And push both hands to the left. There. Now you feel her drifting over the outside shoulder. That's what I want. Yes. Yes. Good. That's the way. Now she's giving it. Right? That's the feeling you want to take in your leg heel. Now when she's really going sideways, then we're going to take a little bit of the bend away and ride it more straight, which would be a more finished leg heel. But for right now, we're exaggerating. Because she wants to drop her right shoulder, we're going to exaggerate and say, yeah, if you want to lead with that left, you know what that left leading means? You're not dropping the right shoulder. Yeah? Yeah. Bend right, bend right, bend right, bend right. Push her off your right leg. Both hands to the left.
You're always bending left.
There. There. Yeah, yeah. I would go straight or bend right, but I wouldn't take too much bend to the left. You don't need to. Bend right again. Keep it. Even though you're going in this direction, you're still keeping that bend. Yeah?
Yeah, I need like a shoulder forward kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Good.
Keep it. Now move her away. Move her away. Both hands over. See how loose the reins are? You need to take more connection so that she feels when the reins are saying go left. She feels it. If your reins are too loose, she's not going to feel it.
Okay.
Now more bend. Keep it. Don't let her off the connection. Bend. Bend her more. Bend her more. Bend her more. More bend. Make her nose come way over the right shoulder. Way over the right shoulder. Yeah. Yeah. If you have to take her on a circle to get it done, then you have to take her on a circle. Now get it. Keep it. Keep it. Now move her out. Move her out. Don't let her come against it. She's already trying to bend over the left. Keep that bend right. Yep. And it's gonna take strength. I'm not gonna lie, right? You're gonna hold that bend, and she's gonna try and take the bend away from you. And there's where you have to say, "Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't." She's gonna try and pull that right rein away from you, and you're gonna say, "Nope." Right? She's gonna try and push into your right leg, and again, you're gonna close that door and say, "Nope." Even now, bend. Take it. Yes. More. Take it and hold that right shoulder. So if she says, "I'm going to turn," you can half up that right shoulder with your right rein and say, "Nope, it's bend but not turning." There. 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 Move that right shoulder. Connection. It's too loose again. It's too loose, and already she's trying to wiggle. She's trying to get behind your leg and wiggle, and then she puts herself in the driver's seat, and then she wins. 1 for her, 0 for you. And if you don't think she's keeping count, yeah. Bend it again. Bend her again. More. Thank you. More. Get to that right shoulder. There. Keep it. Keep it. Keep that right shoulder. Don't let your inside hand get wide. Both hands to the left. Block that right shoulder with your right rein. Block that right shoulder with your right rein. There. There. Now trot on and hold that position. Trot on and hold that position. Bend. Move the right shoulder. Bend that right rein. There. Keep it. And every once in a while you might have to make extra bend. Bend more. Move that right shoulder. Bend the crap out of her. Yes. Bend the crap out of her. If a little bit is good, a lot's going to be better. If a little bit does, my dad was an engineer and he had this phrase, if a 1/4 inch does the job and a 1/2 inch looks good, make it an inch. You're overbending. You're exaggerating. We know that's the weak spot. So we're exaggerating. Yes, and forward. Forward through the bend.
Forward.
Forward through the bend. It's looking better. Forward through the bend. Half out that right shoulder. Move her away. Yes. And leg yield her out. Start with your leg yields on the circle where you're thinking, I'm pushing her away from my inside aids from the leg yield on the circle. Make her overbend and drift out. Overbend and drift out. And then you're going to take it on the straight line. Overbend. Overbend. More. Take your inside rein and move the right shoulder. Inside leg, inside rein. Move it. Move the right shoulder. Come on, you can do it. Oh, she's counterbend again. She's pushing against you. That's better in the connection. I'll give you that. It's a much better connection. Now move the right shoulder. Yeah, and if your reins are too loose, she can, boom, wiggle out from underneath you and position those shoulders in the wrong way in a heartbeat. So I wouldn't trust her with a loose connection.
For sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I like her, but I don't trust her.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't trust her either. I mean, she'll take advantage of whatever she can get ahead of.
You know,
And I normally
just like
don't
us,
fight with her.
just like us, we're either left or right-sided.
Yeah.
And you find that with horses. And so obviously the right side is our weaker side.
Yeah.
And so we have to say, let's make that stronger. And the only way we make it stronger is to position her so she has to use it. But the whole time you're forcing her to use it, it's kind of tough love. You know, you're a personal trainer. Yeah. But even now with the walk, exaggerate the bend and push her over. I don't think there's ever a time when you're going to be going straight in this direction. You're always going to be bending or doing something. It's always coming back and giving that. So even if you're kind of casually walking, can I move? Can I move her off of that?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. old habits die hard, and I think they sometimes get used to going this way, and they think, oh, that's just the way I'm supposed to go.
Right.
And then we show them a better way, but the reality is, the psychology is, that when we change something about the way the horse is going, the first thing the horse is going to say is, that's change, and I don't like change. This isn't the way I'm supposed to be going. This is the way I've been going a different way, and that's normal, and now you're telling me to do it different. And I have to get back to the old way. Yeah? I have to get back to the old way, because that's what I'm used to. And then what happens is they try the best they can to get back to the old way. And when they give it the best shot they can, and they can't get back to the old way, it's at that point they start saying, I guess I'm going to have to deal with the situation. And now this new way becomes the old way. But every time we make a change, it's very normal that the horse is going to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been doing this in a different way.
Right.
And so they're going to try and get back to that. And how strong do they try and get back to it? I've had horses that have bucked and leaped and done all sorts of crazy stuff to say, I'm going to give it my best shot to make this go away so I can get back to my normal way. They don't understand that we're progressing in the work and that our end goal is Grand Prix. So, when you have a horse that says, I have a weak right hind leg, and we work it, they're like, wait a minute, I don't think I should have to do that. I always make my left leg stronger. And so, again, you get into those micro arguments. And in some cases, like when you're on a mare, and this is where it's important to understand when you're riding a mare, you want to get it done in 2 steps. But the other thing is, a lot of times, you're going to ride to a certain point and you feel resistance or an argument, just stay quiet, hold your ground, right? So in this case, you're saying I'm bending right.
Right.
And she's going to try and twist your shoulders and counter bend left, and you're going to hold that right, and she's going to hit it. And is she going to argue with that right rein? Yes. That's when we have to make a choice. Do I drop it and let her get back to the old way? No, because then we're never going to progress in the training.
Right.
Or do I just say, I'm holding the bend left and I'm not going away?
Right.
That's the approach we take with a mare. My comment yesterday about a mare, you submit an application in triplicate.
Yes.
A lot of times when you're riding and you're holding your ground, a good example would be I start a shoulder in and I'm bending and I'm riding the shoulder in and the horse is trying to get out of the shoulder in. I'm just putting the aids on and keeping them there. And I'm riding the shoulder in and the horse is fussy. And I'm not doing anything except just staying right here, not doing anything and just holding my ground. And I'm waiting for the horse to settle and accept the application, right? And then when the horse settles into the work, it becomes her idea and life is good again. And then you can ride a shoulder in and then you can kind of tweak it and make it better. But if I was riding a gelding, I would probably ride more aggressively and say, oh, you want to complain about this? Well, here, take this, right? And I power ride a little bit. Right. On a mare, I can't do that.
Right.
Yeah? So is she going to hit your aids and she's going to fight against you? Yes. Are you just going to hold your ground and wait for her to make it her idea? Yes. Because that's part of the application being accepted.
Her idea. Okay.
Yeah?
Because
Yeah.
her main evasion is that she's doing swing where she just stops.
Yeah, I would say,
She's like, are we done yet? And I think
So-
partly that's me, because when I got what I wanted, I would release pressure. And then she's learned that pressure release, when she does something right, it would stop.
yeah.
And then I'm like, that's not how that always goes.
Well, very first thing, you can say, we have the 3 main evasions, front door, hind door, side door.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of times I'll profile a horse. They almost always try the same evasions in the same order. Okay? Her first evasion is back door. She doesn't go forward.
Yeah.
Right? The next thing she does is she can do a side door.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing you have to do is close the back door and say, get going.
Sure.
Yeah. If it's more than what you want, okay. But then you're taking the connection and saying, okay, now I got to take this connection and I have to bend or do something to get the wigglies out. I have to stop the side door. So she is a back door, side door, front door horse. Okay? Well, you never have, if you have a horse that's going through the back door, that's when they can wiggle and twist and bolt sideways and spin and do all the crap. And so, I mean, when I get on a horse and I can't really ride forward, those horses worry me.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking, this horse is behind my leg. And when it's behind the leg, it's a myth that you have more control. You don't. You absolutely don't.
Okay.
I'm on a horse that isn't going forward, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this horse can just scoot out from underneath me and do whatever it wants.
Okay.
And I have to ride forward enough to make a good leg-to-hand connection. And now I have a solid feel and I have more control because I can hold the horse in the outline I want, and I can hold the balance, and I have steering, and I have a half halt, you know. But if I don't have that horse going forward, oh man, I get worried. I get nervous. So, yeah. So a lot of what you're doing is going to be the leg yields, but I'd start it on the circle line and say overbend and make her drift out. Like even now, overbend. Yep. And if you can't get it established in the trot, come back to the walk, make it work in the walk, then come back to the trot. I use that a lot in a training program with a lot of horses. And you're bending, move the right shoulder away, overbend, and move the right shoulder away. So you're not thinking about bend, you have to exaggerate it. You think overbend. And now she's not going forward, yeah? So this is what I call the ultimatum, right? And this is a very typical thing that horses do. They say, I will go forward and no bend, or bend and no forward. It's an ultimatum. And what we have to ride through the ultimatum stage of the training and say, I'm going to make the forward and the bend. She's going to try and get you to compromise and tell you that if you let me go counterbend her straight, I will go forward.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I will go forward, but if you make me bend and go forward at the same time, you have to pick one or the other. The reality is, no, you don't. You deserve both at the same time. So if she says, I'm going to make you pick one or the other, you say, bullshit, I pay the bills, and I deserve both at the same time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. You're going to make most of your training program to the right. She bends well to the left. You don't have to worry about it. It's there for the asking, yeah? You just have to say, can I make her go forward enough that she pushes in? Right. And you take that contact. You say, I want that steady contact. You want to feel it. If you're on a cell phone and you're talking and now all of a sudden you don't hear anybody, and then they come back and then they disappear, it's like you got to fill in the blanks, right? Like, okay, there's like 3 words I just missed. What was it? What was she talking about? Yeah. With this horse, we have a contact. We call it contact. We're in communication with the mouth. Yeah. That's going to tell us where things are going. And when she breaks the contact, now both of you are guessing about what the conversation's about.
Right.
Yeah. So you're always working toward a solid contact. Because she wants to make it too loose, I would almost say I'd be happy if I felt something really strong in my hand.
Okay.
Temporarily.
Yeah.
Temporarily, right?
Yeah.
I rode with a British Olympic coach, and when he said, when a horse won't let me touch him, I really pick him up and say hello.
Oh.
Right? So I almost do a little bit the opposite. For a horse that's saying, can I get away from the connection? If you look at the bottom of a dressage test, it says acceptance of the bit.
Yeah.
When you have a horse that says, don't touch me, that's a problem. That's taking away a huge amount of rideability. When I have horses that are like that, I ride with a different psychology. We've talked about positive and negative in our training program, and that when a horse does the right thing, I soften. You can't do that on a horse that's saying, don't touch me. Because until the horse really accepts the connection or accepts the influence of that rein, when you soften the rein, they don't interpret it as a reward. They interpret it as a continual hiding place. So for a horse that's saying, you can't touch me, I'm very quick to soften one rein, but not that rein they're trying to get away from. That makes sense? Yeah. So in her case, you're going to be working a lot on the forward and a lot on the bend right. And then you're going to be working on leg yields. And when you can ride that position and she's more resolute and lets you ride it easier, that's when we're going to start putting more canter into our program, because you're going to have control of the shoulders and be able to put her where you need her and keep her where you need her for the canter. Good, that's better. Make the extra bend right. So you're not just thinking bend If bend is enough, you want more than enough. You want a lot of bend over the right. Yes, a lot of bend over the right. A lot of bend over the right. More. There, that's a start. You want to see her whole right eye. If you can't see her eye, we don't have enough bend. Yep. Make more bend. Make more. And that's her weaker side, yeah? Right. So the other thing is that how many steps can you do? Too many steps of repetition becomes a punishment. So I think you're going to get so many steps. And the other thing is that when a horse gets to that point of fatigue, you're sort of done for the day.
Yeah.
Right? You can't ride beyond the fatigue. So I think the fact that you're saying, I'm really going to pressurize, really bend, move her off, leg yield, move her off, big trot, and then you walk for a little bit.
Okay.
Right? Because if you're taking too many steps in a row, she's going to get fatigued on the right hind.
Okay.
Make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So we have a game plan. A lot of bend right.
Yes.
You're going to start with a lot of bend right, and she drifts out and makes the leg yield on the circle line, then you take it onto a straight line.
Okay.
Yeah? You're going to do more to the right than to the left.
Okay.
Your bend to the left is good, your bend to the right, not so good. So you're going to do more bend right than bend left,
Okay.
right? We're going to get her connected. So you're working at a stronger feel in the bridle with more push and positioning the shoulders, right? From that, when we have a better connection and you're able to position the shoulders, from that we start more canter work.
Okay.
That's our game plan.
Okay. I like it.
Any questions?
Leg yield on the circle, would you be doing, or leg yield trying to do it like the leg yield staircase, or the
I
leg yield
think,
from the center line? Or?
I think if you can ride quarter line leg yield to the track, that's easier, right?
Okay.
Because a lot of horses want to migrate to the wall.
Right.
The other thing is if you're using it on a circle, I think some horses find it easier on a circle and you take it to a straight line. You get that idea of the horse almost overbending and bowing and drifting out, and that's the start of your leg yield a little bit.
Kind of like this. or
Right?
kind
Yeah,
of
exactly, there.
Yeah.
And then you can take that feeling that she's stepping over, and when you get it, and now she's saying, okay, got it, and she's familiar with it on the circle line, now take it on the quarter line.
Okay.
And then you would say bend and move over, and move the shoulders over. Yeah? Make sense?
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. And then you bend again. Overbend. 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 More. Move that right shoulder away. More. There. 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 But again, she made you compromise.
Huh? She made me compromise?
Yeah.
There?
You said forward, and what'd you do with your reins? Here, go forward.
Yeah.
I gotta have bend and forward. Yep,
Yeah,
there it is. There's the ultimatum.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep, I'm not making this stuff up.
So, thank you.
You're very welcome. You are very, very welcome.